So I was fortunate enough to receive a review unit of the NES Classic Edition, Nintendo's big gift for the holidays outside of, well, Pokemon. And I was excited for this console ever since it was first announced, and even though I'm already well versed in all of the games that are provided in this package, and a bunch more on the NES, it's just kind of nice having an official plug-and-play console by Nintendo. And this really isn't a new thing. Namco and Atari did this over a decade ago, and in fact, you may still even see some on shelves today. However, they aren't made by the game providers themselves. This is a 100% legitimate Nintendo product, and it shows. The big selling point here are, of course, the games, of which we have a great selection of 30 running a wide array of genres. There's arcade games like Pac-Man and Galaga, platformers like Super Mario Bros. And Kirby's Adventure, more action games like Castlevania and Ninja Gaiden, and even some multiplayer games like Bubble Bobble and Double Dragon 2. And this is totally just on a personal level, but it makes me really giddy. Nintendo remembered that Star Tropics exists. That makes me so happy. The NES has an incredible lineup, so limiting it to just 30 is bound to leave out some much-loved classics. But really, the only confusing selection is Super C instead of Contra. Like, why? Like it or not, the 30 games that are here are all that you're going to get. There is no way to add any more. I mean, they could have thrown in Little Samson. You see how much that goes for? They could have thrown us a bone. And, you know, I get it. As a machine for the casual player, it gets the job done. But hopefully, if this Nintendo Classics line proves to be successful, we'll see something more grand in the future. Also, at the very least, this is potentially the best official way to play these games. Virtual console efforts beforehand have been shoddy, to say the very least, especially on the Wii U. The NES Classic Edition just simply produces a much better image. There's a neat perk as well with a couple display options, one even replicating old school TVs in a much better way than simply throwing scan lines on a screen. There's even the addition of save states, 4 for each game. So if you want to save your progress halfway through Mario 3, or maybe save a course that you created in Excitebike, you can do that. However, this does sort of tie into the biggest issue with the machine, and that is the wire lengths. The new NES controller is great, and it's able to be used on a Wii or Wii U, but man, you gotta be right next to the console to play with it. Not only simply because the wire is short, that is because to access the menu mid-game, you need to press the reset button. Now I assume they just wanted to go for authenticity, but by plugging in a Wii Classic controller, the home button does the same thing, and the wire is longer. A brand new home button on the NES controller wouldn't really have been the worst thing in the world. It's really a shame too, because this is the only complaint I have about this box, and for some, it could probably be a deal breaker. Now I personally really enjoyed this machine, but once again, it's not really for my demographic as someone who has played most of these games dozens, if not hundreds of times, but it is still a really neat toy that hopefully Nintendo builds on in the future with, say, a Super Nintendo Classic, or maybe even a little Game Boy that has built-in games on it. That seems like that could be pretty cool, but that's for the potential future. For now, this is a neat little gift for the holidays, that it could potentially bring back some old memories and make some new ones, and for that, it gets the job done really well. But really now, anything that gets more eyes on Star Tropics, that can't be such a bad thing, now can it?